way to his job in the desert, a man finds gold along the way and believes he's about to become a millionaire. But the desert has other plans for him.
Then where are you taking that?
The story begins with Virgil, a poor man traveling by train to work at a company situated in an isolated desert. When the train stops at a station, Virgil steps out and is struck by the intense heat and arid climate of the desert. Determined to reach the company, he hires a taxi. On the way, the driver unexpectedly demands more money than the agreed fare because of the long and exhausting journey. With no alternative in the desolate desert, Virgil reluctantly pays the extra amount, realizing he's being exploited. As the journey continues, the car gets a flat tire, and Virgil replaces it himself to avoid further delays. Virgil steps away and notices something shiny in the sand and is astonished to find it's gold.
Just come here! Look at this!
He excitedly calls the driver, who initially doubts its authenticity. The driver tests the gold by setting it on fire, explaining that if it remains unchanged, it's real. When the gold remains intact, they realize they've found genuine treasure. The two begin digging and unearth a massive amount of gold. However, it's too large to move. They attempt to pull it out with the car, but the effort fails. Night approaches, so they gather firewood to light a fire for protection against wild animals. The driver suggests one of them should go to town to fetch an excavator. The next morning, the driver gives him water, food, and a phone to stay in contact, then goes to the town, and Virgil is left alone to guard the treasure. He builds a makeshift shelter and uses firewood to keep predators away. The nights are filled with hunger and the threat of wild dogs, which he fends off with burning wood. While exploring the desert, Virgil discovers a crash plane and salvages parts of it for shelter and protection. As he waits, he becomes obsessed with the gold and takes a piece off to keep for himself. When the driver calls to inform him of delays, Virgil grows impatient but resolves to stay by the treasure. As Virgil's isolation deepens, his face becomes sunburned and distorted, and his supplies dwindle. Searching for resources, he notices someone approaching and hides in the plane. A girl appears, asking if he needs help, but Virgil, suspicious, declines her assistance. She questions him about his presence in the desert,
Why here?
but he avoids answering. As she heads toward the gold, he stops her, claiming the plane is his living space and offering it to her. The girl doesn't believe his story and accuses him of lying. She warns Virgil about the dangers of heat and dehydration, which cause delusions. Her face, also sun-scorched, reflects the harsh environment. When she persists in approaching the gold, Virgil becomes enraged, attacks her, and kills her. He then loots her belongings and buries her body. Days pass, and Virgil becomes increasingly delusional. The driver calls to say he's close with the excavator, but Virgil speaks incoherently, revealing his deteriorating condition. A sandstorm hits, and Virgil is injured by a falling tree trunk, leaving him buried in sand with a severe wound. He lights a fire, removes the trunk, and faints repeatedly from the pain. When Virgil wakes up, he sees the girl he had killed standing before him. She offers him water and assistance, but he thinks he is hallucinating due to his worsening condition. She then asks Virgil about her sister, and he realizes the girl he had killed was the twin sister of the one now confronting him. Virgil called the driver, who informed him he was nearby. However, as the driver approached, wild dogs began attacking Virgil, who finally succumbed to their assault. Helpless, Virgil is left to die as he sees the advertisement for the company he had wanted to work for. The driver, watching from a distance, did nothing to save Virgil. Motivated by greed, he waited for Virgil to die so he could claim the gold for himself. Once the dogs left, the driver approached the treasure, but was struck in the chest by an arrow. The assailant was the sister of the girl Virgil had killed. She avenged her twin's death, ensuring that both men paid for their greed. The film ends with the gold remaining untouched in the desert,